Hey guys, in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the Academy Award nominations for 2024. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit about Bottoms and Poor Things. So join us.
Casual Cinecast, powered by Cinelinx, the show where we talk about the TV and movies we've been watching, as well as do a deep dive review of a current movie or a classic film from the Criterion Collection as voted on by the listener via X/Twitter. My name is Justin, and with me as always is a man who is enraged at the Oscar snub of Zack Snyder and Rebel Moon not getting nominated for Best Director or Picture in that order.
That's right. Who makes up the Academy anyway? All these hacks. No taste.
Yeah, people who hate sci-fi and Zack Snyder. Whatever the opposite of the Snyder cut people are.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm sad to say I didn't actually even finish Rebel Moon. I think I will, though. I think I'll go back one day. But here's the thing. He's already talking about a director's cut. Before the initial cut even released, he's already hyping up a director's cut, which...
Yeah. Did I see right that the quote was something to the effect of, like, it's an entirely different movie that's like way better or something like that?
I don't know, but you're releasing it directly to Netflix. What's the point of holding out?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I need to see it as well. I have not heard great things, but I'm still weirdly intrigued by it. So I need to get to it at some point, and I think I will.
Yeah, same. So, but anyway, here's the thing. Your intro's not really relevant today because today we are not reviewing a movie, nor are we discussing a film from the Criterion Collection or any of that nonsense? Today,
that's true.
As I said at the top of the show, we are just talking Academy Awards and doing a little dive on Bottoms and Poor Things.
Yeah. No feature review. Yeah. Switching it up.
So, I guess, let's do it. Let's get into it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Chris isn't here. Sorry. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. We miss you.
Yeah. Here we go.
You on the mark!
So, Bottoms. I recently watched the movie Bottoms with my girlfriend. I believe you have seen this as well, right?
I have. I watched it with my wife. So, very similar story to you.
Yeah. Imagine that. So,
although I don't know, it was at my urging because I thought it looked interesting and fun, potentially.
All right. Well, that seems like a good jumping off point as any. Is that what you ended up thinking, or do you think something else? Where do you land?
I mean, I don't know if I would go as far to say it was interesting. I thought it was fun, though. I had a good time watching it. You know, I think I didn't really know that the movie was. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's set in the like early 2000s, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Which is not really a outwardly like stated thing.
No.
And it took me a while to catch on.
I forgot that about the movie until you just said that.
Yeah, it's not really a key point. It's just when you really start to pay attention to the details or whatever. But
sure.
that was a fun little thing. But it's a cool movie because I like that they're doing this sort of super bad sort of thing with the comedy, and at the same time, they've created a sort of surreal world where like the things that happen in it would never happen in real life and never get away with it. And they just kind of embrace that. And I think they do a pretty good job of like maintaining that tone and giving me something that it feels a little different than what I've seen before. And go ahead.
Like a sillier Superbad, basically. Super bad in like a cartoon world, kind of.
Yeah, basically. And, I don't want to necessarily get too much into this movie, but, when we reviewed Booksmart on the podcast, and if I remember correctly, neither of us were really big fans of it. And I think at least my issue that I recall was that the movie kind of had like didn't really have like a set tone. I couldn't really grasp what I was supposed to be feeling and how seriously I was supposed to be taking it. And like at times it was really silly and other times it was really serious. And I think this movie kind of succeeds where that one fails, just to have like a sort of comparison.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. The tone is way over the top, and then it can also get pretty serious and heavy at times. And I think it does a good job of balancing the two, which is kind of what you're saying. But I would say that the balancing act in this movie, to make you feel anything, is like a greater feat because it is so silly all the time. Like all the football players are kind of ditzy and stupid. And it tries to turn all these like tropes, these high school tropes on their head a little bit, you know. All the main characters, I think at least most of them are lesbians and they aren't very popular. And a lot of times that's like the only thing they have in common. Other than that, they seem pretty different and they wouldn't normally get along. So they end up, you know, forming this friendship through a club. And it's just wild, wacky, silly, zany stuff, you know, really fun slapstick humor, all that. But then to be at that level and then drop you down to like some kind of really cool character beat, or not really cool, I don't think that's the right word, but sometimes cool, but other times emotional, to make you care about anything or anyone, I think is not easy. I think whenever most of the movie is so silly, you know? So I think, yeah, excellent direction and handling of tones. But I will say I didn't love it. I liked it a lot, but, you know, I also was kind of disappointed I didn't like it more. I don't know how you feel. Like, I don't know, like like where are you sitting? Are you like really enthusiastic about it, or are you kind of like, it was good, or what?
I think I'm sort of in the 3.5 star range out of 5, maybe close to 4, but maybe not quite getting up there. I enjoyed it too. Didn't love it, but I think it's just that like the humor didn't quite always land for me. Some of the stuff I think was like meant to be funny didn't quite work for me, and that's probably so. I guess I had a few of those moments where I just felt like I don't know that it was missing, or that like it's just not maybe necessarily the movie for me. Like I'm not necessarily the target audience either for some of the humor. So like in some ways it misses me.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I am sitting comfortably at a 3.5 out of 5, which in my book is a good score, but I'm not like, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to watch it again anytime soon.
Yeah, as far as comedies go from like recent years, and especially this year, I think it's one of the better ones I've seen as far as
I agree. Yeah.
Straightforward comedies.
It's a movie I would recommend to most people. Not everyone, but certainly a lot of people.
Yeah, let's say open-minded people.
Let's give a shout out to the leads. Rachel Sennott, who is popping up more and more lately, which is always good to see her. She's funny.
I think she co-wrote it with the director, which the director is Emma Seligman. Just put her name out there.
Yeah, who directed Shiva Baby, also starring Rachel Sennott, which is a good movie. I didn't realize that until just now, which that's cool. And it also stars, Bottoms, that is, Ayo, how do you say, Edebiri? Edebiri? Yeah, who has had a good year this year. She is in The Bear and seems to be very beloved in that show, which I'm also watching right now, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah. She's hopefully blowing up. I think she's, of the leads in this movie, I think she's my favorite. Yeah.
I think she has the most to do, the most interesting stuff to do, the more interesting arc, and I think Ayo, I'm just going to call her by her first name because I don't want to butcher her last name any further. I think she's great. Yeah. I think she's really talented, and I'm glad to see her getting more work.
Yeah, and I think another person is Marshawn Lynch, the teacher. I think he's quite funny and better than I expected. I think if there was a red flag about the movie when watching the trailer is that it had Marshawn Lynch in it.
Yeah.
And that threw me off.
Yeah. But he had good timing.
Yeah. He did. He fit right in, I think.
Yeah.
So a special shout out.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this movie other than I liked it. I liked the over-the-top tone without being a straight-up slapstick, everyone getting hit with stuff
Yeah.
type movie. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think like tonally, it's really close to this sort of like parody vibe almost. You know, like a kind of an Airplane at points.
Yeah, but not quite.
Without being that silly, with having more heart. And so, yeah, I think it's a definite recommend for anybody who's not, I don't know, going to be offended by LGBT. And even if you are, you should watch it anyways. You should be forced to watch it then.
Yeah. Get over it. Watch it till you get over it.
Yeah. Watch it and repeat. Well, like Clockwork Orange style.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So that's bottoms. Do you now want to shift into Poor Things?
Yes, I do.
All right. I'll kick this one off, I suppose. Poor Things is the newest film from Yorgos Lanthimos. I believe that's how you say it. I don't know exactly what the inflections are, but
yeah, I'll find out at the Oscar.
Yeah,
I think when they
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've really enjoyed the films of his that I have seen. I have not seen Killing of a Sacred Deer or The Lobster, but I really enjoyed The Favorite. And then
those are both good.
Yeah.
I think Killing of a Sacred Deer is a bit underappreciated, or just in generally kind of like undersung.
Yeah.
I might like it more than his other stuff, but I don't know. Favorite's pretty great.
Yeah. The Favorite is very good. So anyways, I basically what I'm saying is I haven't seen enough of this guy's stuff, but what I have seen so far has made an impression, which spoilers for Poor Things, I guess, not really, just for my overall thoughts. I really like this movie. I wasn't quite sure what to expect with it. I think it goes places I didn't expect based on the trailer.
Yeah.
I think Emma Stone's really great here. I think Mark Ruffalo is awesome here. This is the most inspired that I've seen Mark Ruffalo in a long time. Hey, we may talk about that later in the episode. But yeah, no, I just really like this movie. It feels like if Tim Burton in the 90s, instead of making Edward Scissorhands, would have made a movie for like adults instead of for families, it would have been something like this maybe. Like, I don't know. It feels like this crazy adult dream fairy tale kind of movie. And I don't know, it looks unlike anything else that I've seen recently. I don't know. I think it's just a very inspired movie with inspired performances. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this. What'd you think, Justin?
I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm a big fan of Yorgos. I've liked all of his movies, as I just said before. I think the big one of his that I haven't seen is Dogtooth, which I always hear good things about. This one, I watched the trailer once, thought, well, this looks interesting, and it's Yorgos, so I'm in, already. So I didn't watch it very much, didn't know what I was in for. And to an extent, I would say that's the way to see this movie. That said, I would also say that it's not like a first date movie.
No. Probably
that's
not.
Like, I guess my warning. Or like I invited like a friend who doesn't necessarily watch a lot of movies. I was just like, hey, I'm going to see this movie if you want to join me. I'm glad that he did turn me down, because it would have been a bit uncomfortable, I think.
Oh yeah?
In places. Just yeah, just because he's not like the person I watch movies with, like that's not really our thing. So like I would just say there's a lot of good adult oriented sort of content in here that's I'm not sure how this movie didn't get NC-17 and avoided that rating.
Really?
In places.
It didn't feel that bad to me, but
yeah. I thought if it came out rated NC-17 and I saw the movie, I feel like I would get why. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. They tried to label Blue Valentine NC-17, and having watched that movie, apparently no cuts were made, and the MPAA caved, and it was rated R. But you watch that movie and you're like, why did they want to make this NC-17? It makes no sense.
Yeah. But anyways, that's I only say that just as like a warning. So like if you, I don't know, if you have any like inhibitions.
Yeah, if you get uncomfortable with sexual
content,
this ain't the movie for you to see with other people, or maybe at all.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think the less you know, the better, because like it goes places I didn't expect. I think the journey was really interesting because I didn't know what was around the corner from, after the opening 10 minutes. Beyond that, it was all a mystery where we go and how far we go.
Yeah.
And I found the journey to be awesome and really fascinating, and a sort of twist on this idea of I'm trying to remember the term. I didn't know this term. I'd just seen the idea in movies before. I think the term was something like "sexy born yesterday" or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
From like sci-fi films, I think like the example I saw used was Lilu in Fifth Element.
Yeah, or maybe like a weird science situation. Well, I guess she was smarter than them.
Yeah, but this sort of like male fantasy that's used in fantasy and sci-fi or whatever,
innocent
where there's like
hot. Basically.
Yeah, like an adult, but not the brain is underdeveloped, right? So I found it really interesting viewing it through that lens, and it moves beyond just that simple sort of theme. So I don't think I'm giving anything away.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think this is spoilery. It's like Frankenstein and Pinocchio mixed together with with a lot of sexual content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I found it to be really funny in that Yorgos way, where it's just like, it's pretty twisted and pretty dark, but when there's a laugh every now and then, it just made me laugh out loud.
Yeah. It felt like Yorgos was making the movie that Tim Burton has chased his whole career but can't seem to wrap his hands around.
Sure, yeah. And I would wonder if Tim Burton's chasing it because like it always feels like everything he does is a bit too safe to ever reach these heights.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's like he's got vision, but I think lacks conviction.
Yeah. It's the vision, but maybe I don't know if it's the lack of conviction or the lack of desire to go into something this deep and this full of theme and things to say.
Yeah. Maybe if, I don't know, the 2010s had not happened to Tim Burton and all those Alice in Wonderlands and Charlie and the Chocolate Factories, if we had 90s Tim Burton throughout his career, I wonder what could have happened. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm with you. It definitely, it feels like Tim Burton crossed with like Lars von Trier.
Yeah, something really cynical with like a lot of imagination and storybook iconography and stuff,
Yeah, and well, I was going to say something about Oscars and cinematography, but I think we'll talk about that later.
Probably. Yeah, if you haven't gathered, listener, or if you just don't know or don't remember when you're listening to this, as of right now, the Oscar nominations are pretty recent, and Poor Things is nominated for some stuff, so we will talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, but without being able to dive into it for spoilers' sake, I think we can probably leave it there unless you have more.
No, I don't think so. Just, solid movie. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, very strong recommend for me. It's one of the best times I had in a theater. Although I will say I did have a guy who was like regularly covering his eyes.
What?
And like blocking the screen during the movie that was a row in front of me.
That is so lame. Just leave the
very
theater
silly.
if you're going to be stupid about it, or just be a grown up and sit with it. Anyway,
I feel like he didn't know what he was in for.
I will say that my audience for Poor Things was pretty good, if I remember correctly. I remember the audience laughing a lot throughout and seeming pretty enthusiastic. So, I think that's all you can ask for in a movie like this. It feels like you said it could be a challenging watch, especially since I watched it at an AMC. Mm-hmm. And AMC's, I think they represent the pretty casual audience.
Sure. Yeah. I saw it at one of the more popular movie chains in a populated sort of area. So I think I saw it at like Martin Luther King Day when it was a holiday, so there was no work. But I saw it on that Monday at noon. So I really expected a pretty empty theater, and it was actually maybe like a third full and well received. So
rock on.
Who knows?
All right, cool. So I guess now we should talk about the Oscars, yes?
Yeah.
Or Oscar nominations, I guess.
Yeah, the nominations. We don't know who wins yet.
That's true. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're going to go through each category. I don't think we're going to name each movie, but we will talk about all the things that we find interesting within each category and all that stuff. That said, Justin, unless you disagree, I don't really have anything to add or say about Best Documentary Short or Best Animated Short because I have not seen any of these.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have nothing to say at all, except if you're doing an Oscar, like pick the winners, go for the ones that have the most interesting names, which by my judgment is War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko for animated short, and the ABCs of Book Banning for Best Documentary Short. Those are the ones that people will probably vote for when they haven't seen them.
It really feels like War is Over is cheating with that War is Over ! Inspired by the music of John and Yoko as the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the hook, so I don't blame them. But it does feel like cheating if you're going off of your recommendation of judging them by their titles.
Yeah. I just think it's usually the safest bet if you're trying to pick Oscar winners. But yeah, that's all I have to say on those categories for now.
Rock on. So Best Live Action Short. I'm going to be honest, I've only seen one of these, and that is the Wes Anderson short because it came out on Netflix, and I like Wes Anderson. So I already kind of, it was on my radar. None of these are on my radar right now, but I will say that I really dug The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Yeah, I did too. I think it was the best of the shorts that he released, and I don't know. I feel like he's maybe got a bit of an unfair advantage in this category compared to, some of the things that end up in there.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. Maybe he'll win, but
yeah, he might win just
That's
because it's actually like one of the years whenever there's a short film that people have heard of.
Yeah, more people are going to have seen it.
Yeah, exactly, than I think the average short film. So maybe, we'll see. But I agree with you that it would feel kind of, I don't know, does Wes Anderson need that Academy Award? Like, give it to some hungry, up-and-coming filmmaker. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I think he'll win. That's my best.
Probably so. Score.
Yes.
So this one, American Fiction, Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I have seen all of these except for American Fiction, which I already have tickets to see Friday.
Look at you, planning ahead.
I know. And get this, the day after, I'm going to see Zone of Interest.
Ooh.
I think you've seen all of these except for American Fiction too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
I honestly don't recall anything specific from Killers of the Flower Moon or Poor Things, but Indiana Jones has a bit of an iconic thing, and I think, at least currently, that's John Williams' last score, right?
Unless he announces another one someday.
Yeah, it's supposed to be his last.
It'll certainly be his last Indiana Jones score. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that might get it just for sentiment's sake. But I like Oppenheimer, I think, personally. I remember that score being pretty impactful.
Yeah.
And doing a lot of work for a movie that's, a lot of people talking.
Yeah. I agree. No further comment. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Best original song.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't remember the song from Killers of the Flower Moon. I have not seen American Symphony or Flamin' Hot.
Mm-hmm.
But all the momentum, I feel like, is behind Ryan Gosling and I'm Just Kin. Even though he's not really the one winning the Academy Award for that.
Right.
It's Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt. I feel like that's where the audience's heart lies, so I feel like that's probably going to win. But I would not put it past Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
To take it home just because she's Billie Eilish, and that's the real song. If I'm Just Kin hadn't happened, it would be Billie Eilish, I think, like easy in the pocket,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and if you boil it down to these two, I think, to me, like on a personal opinion level, it's no contest between I'm Just Kin and What Was I Made For, because I think what Was I Made For is great.
I don't even know what the song is. What part did it play in the movie?
It plays towards, it's like the very, very end. So, spoilers, I guess, but when she's meeting.
Oh, whenever they're having that
she's
conversation.
Like into the room with like having a conversation with the creator.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Say no more.
Memories
Say no more.
and such.
Yeah.
But then the melody of that song too was peppered throughout the score as well, so it resonates a little deeper. But I think just listening to the song on its own, like, it's really, really good. And I'm Just Kin is also great, but it's also just kind of novelty fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's just fueled by everyone's crush on Ryan Gosling more than it is like a good song on its own. Like, it's a good moment in the movie, and I laughed, but
yeah, I love it.
I'm not saying it's a bad song, but I don't know. It feels.
But we're talking about best song.
That's true. If we're talking about best song, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the other one, so I have no opinion, I guess. But
well, maybe go listen to it, and I have a feeling you'll agree.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. I think Billie Eilish is pretty good. I liked her James Bond song.
Yeah, and this is arguably better in my opinion.
So, did you tell where does your heart lie on best original song before we go? Is it Billie Eilish?
Yeah, Billie Eilish. What Was I Made For?
Yeah.
Great song.
All right. So, best production design. Do you have any opinions on this? I mean, looks like a bunch of strong contenders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the most, I guess, like obvious sort of outlandish choices would be Barbie and Poor Things, I think.
Yeah.
The other ones are obviously period pieces and well done and and whatnot. The flashiest though, Barbie and Poor Things, and I kind of like flashy sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. Yeah, like you said, they're just straightforward period pieces, which can be challenging and take a lot of talent, but they're also pretty common. You know what I mean? Like, these may be better or worse than the average one that you've seen, but like these kinds of sets in production design, it's. In my opinion, I think Barbie is the more interesting one here, but I don't know. I really like Poor Things, the way it looks.
Yeah, Poor Things is a bit more original, although it is pulling from real life. More Barbie is a sort of like fake world entirely, although pulling from a toy line for the design of certain things. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to go with Poor Things, actually. I think Poor Things just because of it's all imagination,
Yeah. A lot of strange costumes and like you said earlier, I think when we were talking about it before, like Frankenstein sort of a lot of devices,
Yeah.
A similar way to like, Guillermo del Toro early films, Phil.
Yeah. It's like in Poor Things, everything kind of feels like artificial, like it's on a set, but it's like kind of doesn't at the same time. I don't know. It's just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Best visual effects. This one, pretty difficult. I will say I have not finished Napoleon yet. I have seen half of it, and I will say that visual effects are not its strong suit. I saw some pretty bad visual effects in Napoleon in the first.
Oh, really?
In the first half, yeah. I don't know. I feel like some bad, like, I don't know, bad looking like cannon fire and horses moving around. I don't know.
Interesting.
Like the part, there's a part where Napoleon's horse gets hit by a cannonball.
Oh yeah.
And it looks just, I don't know.
That's very early.
It looks very bad.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that. I was gonna say in general, like I imagine they're doing a ton of
stuff you don't notice,
taking things out, stuff you don't notice. Yeah, like putting in buildings and taking out modern stuff and extending sets,
adding extras in the back that you don't realize are added with the computer.
Yeah, and you mentioned the horse, and I remember that now. But otherwise, I was thinking that nothing stood out to me as being a visual effect, and like, if you told me that the movie was 99% practical, I might believe you.
Sure.
And so to that extent, I was thinking, well, they were really good. But I feel like the creator is the strongest one in my mind, but I haven't seen Godzilla -1 yet.
I have not seen Godzilla -1 either. I really, really want to. I was actually going to make time to go see that this weekend instead of one of the either American Fiction or Zone of Interest, just because of word of mouth. But the version that's in theaters around me right now is the black and white one. And I don't know that I want to watch the black and white one for my first viewing of that movie.
Right.
You know? But anyway.
Makes sense.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think, is like maybe one of the pinnacle, like, best-looking Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
James, like, all the Guardians movies, I think, have looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, they look good in a way that I feel like most Marvel movies don't. And I guess I'll have to attribute that to James Gunn.
Yeah. There's a lot of Volume 3 that relies on the CG characters.
Yeah.
Performances and stuff, too.
That's true.
So, for that movie to work, it has to be impressive.
Yeah. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1, which, hey, sidebar, I've heard they've removed Part 1 from the title of Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. So now it's just Dead Reckoning. I assume so that they can do Part 2 as its own movie title and not be tied to a movie that underperformed.
Oh, yeah. That's the very cold, logical way of looking at it. I just thought they maybe thought of a cooler title.
I mean, that would be good too. But anyways, yeah, Mission Impossible, those always look good. There's always a lot of, invisible effects being used, like painting out that big ramp and making it look like a mountain and all that stuff.
Right.
Out of all these, I think their creator's got to take it, man. The creator looks so good.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Not a movie I loved, but it visually looks awesome.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. This is if there was going to be nominations for that movie, this is the category.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's nominated for Best Sound, too, so we can get into that as well.
Yeah.
If you're done with visual effects.
I am.
Yeah. I don't know that I would pick this one for sound. I think out of these, Oppenheimer stands out just because I remember the impact of the sound more.
Yeah. I remember it because
scenes.
It was a movie from Christopher Nolan that I could actually understand and hear better than the last one, which I could not. So
that's true. And I don't know if this is the first year, but they combined the sound mixing and the sound editing categories into just best sound.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I did not realize that.
I don't know if this is the first year. I think it might be the second year they've done that.
Okay.
But yeah, if it was sound mixing, you could definitely have a case there. Best sound overall, it's still, having not seen Zone of Interest or Maestro, I'm sure sound is really important in Maestro.
Mm-hmm. I imagine it. Yeah, I have not seen Maestro either. I'm going to try to see it before the actual Academy Awards, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about Leonard Bernstein. I just don't know much about him. I'm not jumping up to see this movie, so I'll see it, but it feels awards baity in a way that even Oppenheimer doesn't. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's what, for those reasons, it's kind of lowest on my priority list. But so if I knock out the other things, then I'll get to that one.
Yeah, I think I'm more likely to sit down and watch The Society of Snow before I watch Maestro, though. Yeah,
for sure. And with the caveat too that sitting at home and watching something on Netflix is easier than going to the theater, so that could factor into whether I watch it before something else as well.
That's true.
But yeah, Society of the Snow I would watch first.
Yeah.
Which is in the next category.
Yeah, best hair and makeup. I have not seen Golda or Maestro, as we just said, or Society of Snow. So between Oppenheimer and Poor Things, I'll go with Poor Things.
Yeah. I also go with Poor Things.
All right, cool.
Oppenheimer seemed pretty standard.
Yeah.
I saw someone in the discourse that we'll get to about certain lack of nominations for Barbie. This was one I saw someone talking about, and I was like, they compared it to it being nominated, or Oppenheimer being nominated over Barbie. And it made me really kind of think back to what hair and makeup was in Oppenheimer. I guess there was some aging stuff done.
That's true.
That looked very good.
Yeah, it did look good.
So, yeah, I'm with you though. Poor Things.
Yeah, I mean, what did hair and makeup do in Barbie? Make Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie attractive?
Mm-hmm.
That must be hard.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm sure they did a lot of hard work, and I'm sure it's very wonderful.
I think it's a pretty good feat because the Barbie world has that sort of like flawless look to it.
Like everyone has to look like they're kind of airbrushed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's some interesting things going on.
Yeah. No, I was just joking. I don't want to undersell.
Yeah.
How
but
hard
it ain't
it must
on
have
this
been.
list. It's not on the list though, so
yeah,
no point in going in too far into it. It is on best costume design though.
Yeah. We got
go on. Yeah, so Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Again, between Barbie and Poor Things for me. Poor Things has some interesting sort of costume stuff going on.
Yeah, same. Barbie and Poor Things. The rest are just period pieces. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sure. And I think the things that tend to have an edge in that category tend to be like when one of those sort of Victorian Elizabethan era movies come out,
Mm-hmm.
Like an Elizabeth or a Shakespeare in Love or something. And Poor Things is the closest to that, so that's my prediction for winner.
Yeah. All right, that's good. I don't really have a prediction. I'll say Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay. Wow. Bold. Do you know what I think is going to take Killers of the Flower Moon will take home, though?
What's that?
Best editing.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good segue, I imagine. I don't even know if you really think that or if you just wanted to make that segue.
No. Both of those can be true.
That's true. Are they, though?
And I do really think that, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's sort of like one of the more impressive things to me about the movie is its length while covering a lot of ground and keeping it really interesting and moving along, I think it...
Yeah. I mean, it is 3.5 hours. So that is pretty long, but it moves the whole time, and I was never bored.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I mean, Oppenheimer might have a little bit flashier editing going on, so that could be a dark horse.
That's Christopher Nolan, though. I think all of his movies kind of have flashy editing, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I mean, he's really good at it. He's really good at balancing all that. I don't know. Anatomy of a Fall, kind of... I mean, it's a great movie. I really liked Anatomy of a Fall, but best editing? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. It's really well paced. Now, there are times when it chooses to... I do remember feeling like every time we cut to the reaction of somebody listening to something versus like the person talking.
Uh-huh.
Remember a lot of that feeling really impactful throughout that movie without getting into the details.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think it might not be flashy enough to win. Holdovers, I feel the same way about. I think Holdovers is so good. I love Holdovers, but I don't know if it's got the excitement to win this award. So I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that's gonna get it.
All right, cool.
All right, best cinematography.
Yeah, El Conde, which is also on Netflix and looks pretty cool.
I need to watch that then. Cinematography it's usually one of my favorite categories.
Yeah, it's black and white, from what I could tell.
Oh.
Which I'm a sucker for really like nice looking black and white. So I'm hoping, that will scratch that itch. But as of right now, the movies I have seen, Killers, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Oh, geez.
I love Poor Things. I love what Yorgos and his cinematographer are doing.
You love that fisheye.
That fisheye lens. They're really... They always get me with it.
Yeah.
I'm always like, whoa. I haven't gotten used to it yet, as it's so bizarre to be used in cinema.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Poor Things as well as my personal favorite because it's doing so much. The cinematography changes several times. The black and white, the color, the fisheye. I can't even remember. Do aspect ratios change throughout that movie?
If they did, I didn't consciously notice it.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I'm not going to make that claim. So, I don't know. But it's doing a lot.
It's doing interesting things, with like some of its sort of green screen sky work or whatever the heck that they're doing, or just replacing skies with stuff make for some things I've never seen before.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's my favorite. That said, it's Oppenheimer, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's so much hype around.
They invented IMAX film to film in black and white so they could look up Robert Downey Jr.'s nose, and you know what I mean? Like it was a whole campaign around that. So I feel like Christopher Nolan has the pull for them to give him an Oscar for making a big hubbubaloo about filming in IMAX, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and shooting on film.
Right.
It'll have the love behind it, probably.
Right, and it's not often that Christopher Nolan makes like an Academy Awards friendly movie. Like Interstellar, I don't think was going to get this kind of love. You know, Batman didn't get this kind of love. It got some. You know, those movies got a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think Oppenheimer is like the most award nominations that Christopher Nolan's had.
That would make sense.
I think, but I could be wrong about that.
I'm guessing you're right. And when he has, it's been in like technical categories.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like maybe he's got this one on lockdown because he's made such an Academy voter-friendly movie that it feels like, I don't know, he may take it, you know? It made some of the most money this year of any movie that wasn't Barbie. So
that's true.
So that might be a way for them to, you know, give it a lot of love by loving their stuffy biopics and still trying to appeal to more mass audiences than they normally do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, best documentary feature. Do you have any opinions on these?
I have no thoughts. I haven't seen any of these, but there's a list to see now.
Yeah, there's a list. You can look it up if you interested in what was nominated for best documentary feature, but we're skipping it. So, best animated feature. I have not seen The Boy and the Heron yet, or Robot Dreams.
Did you ever get to Nimona? I know I recommended that one.
Yeah, I watched Nimona, Elemental, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay, I haven't seen Elemental yet. I haven't heard a lot that's inspired me to I need to see it soon.
Yeah.
I imagine it's pretty good though. Yeah, if not, great.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's beautiful, but it's like also, I don't know. It seems kind of uninspired a little bit. Like, I can't fault it for a lot. It's doing a lot. It's about things, you know, it's about racism and prejudice and an immigrant story and all that stuff. And I really appreciate elements of it, but I don't know. Like, Pixar feels like they're kind of, it felt like if someone had like written a Pixar idea of like what sounds like a Pixar movie, you know,
like ChatGPT, write me a Pixar movie.
Give me a Pixar plot. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I can understand that. It does feel that way from just an outside perspective, having not seen it yet. But I personally love Nimona. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, Nimona was a nice surprise. You told me to watch it, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. It was good. It had a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, come on, Spider-Man. It's got to be Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. I think so. I think Nimona could be a dark horse, though, just from, you know, having important things to say in this day and age.
I would like Nimona to win, but I don't count on it. I think my personal favorite animated movie this year was Spider-Man. I also liked Ninja Turtles. I wish Ninja Turtles would have gotten a little bit of love. Mutant Mayhem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was great too. It doesn't quite feel like something that would ever quite make it.
No, I guess not. Maybe it didn't have enough to say. I don't know. But
entertaining though, it is.
Yeah,
super fun.
If I would love Nimona to get like some kind of weird dark horse moment where it catches everyone off guard, but I have a feeling it'll be Spider-Verse. And the thing is, Across the Spider-Verse is super good, so
yeah,
that would be fine.
It's a win-win for me personally.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, so next one, Best International Feature.
I haven't seen any of these.
Yeah, I will have seen Society of Snow and Zone of Interest before the Academy Awards actually airs, and hopefully before we record our Best of 2023 episode.
Hopefully so. At a minimum, I'll see Society of the Snow very soon.
Yeah.
If I can find, I've heard a lot of good things about Perfect Days as well, so that's on my list.
Here's the thing about the Society of the Snow. It was done by J.A. Boyega, right?
Bayona,
excuse me. who did most recently that I saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which up until Dominion came out was the worst Jurassic Park movie I could imagine. And the thing is, that bummed me out because I really loved The Orphanage when it came out.
Yeah.
And
That
so
one was great.
I would really love to watch a movie that washes the taste of Fallen Kingdom out of my mouth for him.
Yeah.
Because
he directed the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings show.
Oh, yeah. That is
Those were
2/3 of the amount of episodes that I've seen.
It's 100% of the episodes I watched of it.
And you know what? Any reason I stopped watching those wasn't due to direction.
Yeah, same.
And so anyways, I would really like to watch a movie that seems to be unanimously praised. I always thought he was a really talented guy. And here's the thing. He actually directed Fallen Kingdom kind of well. I think is entirely script related that movie sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Are you going to go back to Rings of Power, by the way? Are you ever going to finish it? You're not?
I don't plan on it.
Yeah.
It would take something special, like some special word or something going on that makes me feel like I should.
I might watch
really
season 1
need to.
before season 2 comes out, but then again, at this point, I think I might wait to see how season 2 is received.
Yeah.
But like by critics, not by like weird incels on the internet who are mad about girls or
women.
Yeah, women or like
the...
people of color being in their show or whatever.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's the most reason I've ever had to continue watching the show.
Yeah, that makes me want to love it more than I apparently do because I haven't finished it.
Yeah. But anyways.
Anyway, best adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go.
This is a big one. This one's, I think, going to be pretty hotly contested.
Yeah. Which I will see American Fiction Friday, but right now I have no opinion on that. Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig for Barbie. I don't know why I did it in that order. Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Barbie. Greta should go first. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
Tony McNara for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, and Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. So haven't seen 2 of these yet, but I don't know. I want to say Poor Things because I think it's a better movie, but honestly, I think it's got to go to Barbie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I would say that this is the Academy Award that I think Barbie most deserves.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think it's in a bit of a weird like mental spot though, because they're not adapting.
Yeah,
much.
But it's like I know that's the thing is like they're adapting ideas and iconography and like visuals and meta like lore around the dolls, but the actual idea, like that's the thing is what's so good about this screenplay is like now that it's $1 billion movie, everyone's like, yeah, Barbie's good. It was always like inevitable. But no one knew, like a year ago, what that movie was even going to be.
Yeah, and it's the script that makes it better than a Barbie movie ever had any right to be.
Yeah. It's like they took something, it was a very soulless, cash-grabby idea, like a la Transformers, but with even less lore to base a movie on. And they ended up doing something really smart and observant and satirical and something that says something, and made it about something and infused it with heart and got a big giant corporation to pay for it and slap their name on it and try to sell toys. And I think that's brilliant. That's great. That's working within this terrible version of Hollywood that we are living with in this day and age. And taking the kinds of movies that get greenlit and doing something with it. And so that's why I think Barbie should get it.
Yeah, it's definitely my personal choice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Same.
And original screenplay, a lot of good stuff in here. I probably enjoyed like The Holdovers as a movie the most, but I'm getting down into it. Anatomy of a Fall, I think, is a really impressive screenplay. And Past Lives too, I think, is just really interesting.
Yeah, Past Lives.
Past Lives almost I love it, but it also feels like the performances are so key.
That's what I was about to say. Past Lives, I get the vibe that maybe there was improvisation, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know either. That could be credit to the screenplay and the performances of just how natural it feels.
Right. Because it does feel like a lot of times people are just sort of riffing with like an idea, but that might just be like really deft direction and performances and writing. So I don't know. I will say that Past Lives is really good. All the movies on here that I've seen, which is all of them except for Maestro, have really strong screenplays. Like May, December. Like some people don't like the melodramatic way that Todd Haynes directed that movie, but I don't think anyone could argue that the screenplay is doing a lot and playing with certain ideas and expectations in a really smart and interesting way that has a lot to unpack, you know?
Yeah, all of them great. I mean, The Holdovers is just heartwarming too and funny.
Yeah. For here, I'm going to say probably something like Maestro will win, but my heart personally is with The Holdovers. Even though it's a very straightforward screenplay, I don't know. That movie just really charmed me.
Yeah, that's my choice too, I think. So yeah.
All right.
Best supporting actor.
Rock on. Getting into it now.
Yeah.
We got Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things.
Yeah. I feel like the consensus is it's Robert Downey Jr. and has been for
you think so?
Several months.
You think everyone's just excited that he's doing good work that isn't Iron Man?
I think so.
Yeah, that probably is right. They're like, where have you been for a decade?
Yeah. Although, as you called out Mark Ruffalo earlier, I don't know if you want to add any more onto that, but I'm with you. Yeah,
no, I think Mark Ruffalo is great in Poor Things. He's one of the best things about that movie, and that movie has a lot of good things about it. And he just feels really switched on in a way that, I don't know, I haven't felt in a few years from Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, you could say all the same things about Ryan Gosling, too.
That's true, but he always feels switched on. He always feels like he's putting out quality.
Yeah, that's fair enough, yeah.
I mean, not that Mark Ruffalo doesn't.
He's been kind of trapped in the like Bruce Banner, Incredible Hulk thing for a while.
I think it's the same with like Robert Downey Jr. I think it's just good to see them doing good work outside of Marvel every now and then, and to remind everyone of why they were so good in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. I personally think it's going to go to Robert Downey, but my heart might actually be with Mark Ruffalo. I think you might have convinced me.
Yeah, maybe Friday I'll be singing a different tune after I see American Fiction.
Yeah,
I think Sterling K. Brown is really good. I haven't seen him in a lot, but when I do see him, it's memorable.
Yeah, he's always good. I like him a lot.
Okay, so supporting actress, Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer.
Who I regularly forget was in that movie.
Yeah, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, America Ferrera and Barbie, Jodie Foster in Nyad, and Davine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. Give it to Davine.
Yeah, that's what I say too. And I think she won the Golden Globe in the comedy category, of course.
Heck, comedy. I mean, I guess Holdovers could be a comedy, but whatever.
Could be. Her part.
If you squint your eyes a bit.
Yeah. So America Ferrera, I think, is also a really good choice. I thought she was great. I haven't seen Nyad or Color Purple.
Same.
Yeah. My forgetting Emily Blunt isn't necessarily a judgment on her performance. I think
Emily Blunt didn't have a lot to do in Oppenheimer. Yeah. And I think that's just the nature of the material, not necessarily a slight against Christopher Nolan for underrepresenting anyone or anything like that. But, you know, it's a pretty singularly focused movie on things that affect Oppenheimer. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jodie Foster is great. She always is, but I don't know. Here, my opinion, Davine, like America Ferrera got a good monologue to do, but I don't know. I watch what she's doing in The Holdovers, Davine, and I think it's no contest.
Yeah, she's for being supporting. I think that from what I've seen, Davine is doing the most, like carrying the most weight of a movie.
Yeah,
out of all of these. So,
I agree. All right, here we go.
All right, best actor.
Actor, yeah. Run them down, sir.
Yeah, okay, so Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I have only seen 2 of these.
Yeah, I have also only seen 2, so we're not doing too hot right here in the categories that matter.
We talk about a bunch of stuff we don't know about, but
I know.
I'll say Cillian Murphy is most likely the winner, although that love for The Holdovers is still coming in. I want Paul Giamatti to win it.
I'm definitely going to be seeing Maestro and American Fiction before we record our reaction to the Oscars, so
yeah,
I'll have a more informed post-Oscar opinion, at least.
Yeah, quite often the thing that seems so obvious will win.
I mean, Green Book won Best Picture not that long ago, for God's sakes.
Yeah, literally what I'm thinking of. And like Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour.
Right.
Recently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper put on a fake nose. They love that.
I don't want to believe it. I don't want to. I want Paul Giamatti to win. That's it. Period.
Yeah. Or at least like anyone. I don't know. I just have bad will towards Maestro, and I shouldn't because I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I feel this way, but it just seems so uninspired. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems like a by the numbers Oscar campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And hopefully I get into it and realize
how much of a fool I was for feeling this way.
Yeah, because not to the same degree at all, but I had similar thoughts about Oppenheimer personally.
Sure.
So definitely not to the same level, but Oppenheimer surprised me at how much I enjoyed it. Well,
I think Oppenheimer has the benefit, well, A, of Christopher Nolan, but B, of being about a more interesting guy than I assume.
Someone we know of in a
someone that changed the fate of everything, kind of.
Yeah, but it's definitely true.
But anyways, all right, Best Actress.
Yeah,
Annette Bening and Nyad. Man, I got to see Nyad.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's an easy one if you have the time.
Oh, that's good to know. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Hüller. Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. I apologize.
It might be Hüller or Hüller, but I think Hüller. Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Anyways.
Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Emma Stone, Poor Things. Emma Stone. All the way, hands down.
You think? Interesting.
I mean, I haven't seen Annette Bening or Carey Mulligan, but of the ones I've seen, Emma Stone. I don't think she'll win, but that's the one I think is the best.
Yeah, I think Sandra Hüller is the best.
Yeah.
I thought she was great.
She is.
I thought she's like the heart of that movie, just about probably between her and her son. But I mean, the movie is almost entirely built around like her performance and her reaction,
and a lot of still camera, like just focused right on her face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think she's really great. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into the snubs and stuff, but this is the biggest one that I see the controversy over.
Actress?
As actress for like Margot Robbie not being nominated. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, if you want to get into it. Margot
Robbie is very good in Barbie. I like her. I think she's very talented. That's not the performance to like, that's not the hill to die on for her. Like she'll have, I think, more opportunities to do more in other movies, right?
Yeah.
Barbie is a very good comedy, but it's not, I don't know, the range that these other performances, I think, like the range of things that they have to do in these movies of the ones that I've seen are just simply greater than kind of playing like a naive toy, kind of not being naive also. You know, I don't know. Margot Robbie's great. I don't want to undersell it, but I don't find that to be a snub because I don't know what I would sacrifice in place of it, having not seen Nyad in Maestro, obviously. That's the thing, though. Here's what I will say real quick before I hand it over to you, because I know you have thoughts. What I imagine Maestro's role for Carey Mulligan to be, I could see what Margot Robbie does in Barbie to be more interesting than what I assume Carey Mulligan has to do in Maestro.
Yeah.
But I don't know that yet.
I definitely agree with that. Don't know a thing about Naya to judge it on those.
Annette Bening's pretty good about choosing some interesting roles, in my opinion, so I bet she's rightfully placed.
Yeah. I find myself stuck in between, like with Emma Stone. Like you've praised her a couple times, and like I think she's really good, and she's pulling it off. And I'm kind of stuck in a place of like, is it the best acting, or is it like the most acting? Because you said like there's a wider range of things to do, and she's doing a lot, and like I just feel like it's gonna be the more like surface level impressive. And I'm not necessarily saying I would replace Emma Stone with Margot Robbie. I would maybe rather see her over Lily Gladstone.
No, Lily Gladstone's taking it home.
But she's also great, so I think she's going to win, actually.
Lily Gladstone?
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot that's subtly difficult to do for Margot Robbie. But I also don't think she's the biggest snub in terms of like things Barbie didn't get nominated for. But out of the ones here, I still say my personal favorite is still Sandra Hüller, though, even if Margot Robbie was in this category.
That's fair. In regards to Emma Stone doing best acting or most acting, I'm not sure what you mean exactly, but I will say that through every, like, that character goes through an arc of like a lot of different emotions and maturities and levels of complexity. And I think the way her performance starts as one thing and kind of grows and develops and you believe it the whole time is what I'm referring to as, I think, impressive and with the range. That a lot of these other performances maybe don't go through. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. But anyway, that's why I love Emma Stone's performance the most. But as I said, I feel like Lily Gladstone has it. And deservedly so, I guess, because her performance is great in Killers of the Flower Moon, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Last two.
Yeah.
All right, Best Director. Jonathan Glazer, Zone of Interest. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. And Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. So, what do you think?
Well, this is where I think the biggest snub is. Like, I think it's a shame that Greta didn't get in here. Not that any of these are bad or like didn't deserve it either. It's one where you wish you had 6. But I think it's really hard to not like Yorgos out of this list.
Yeah.
On a personal level, I think making this movie work the way that it does and get the laughs and have something to say and have the vision that it does all at the same time, which I would say all of the same things for Greta Gerwig, to be honest, and in my opinion, to the same level. So yeah, I that's what impresses me most about Yorgos. But to your point earlier, Nolan and Oppenheimer feels like
it's here.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, he gave them awards bait, Christopher Nolan style. And I think they've been looking for a reason to honor him more. You know what I mean? I think this is the year that they've gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that Greta Gerwig got snubbed because Greta Gerwig has had plenty of Oscar love already in her very short directing career. And she will undoubtedly get plenty of love going forward. Of all of Greta Gerwig's movies, all 3 of them that she has directed so far, Barbie is comfortably my least favorite. And it's still very good, right? Like, it's still, like, in my opinion, like a solid 4 out of 5 movie.
Yeah, and I don't want to rehash our conversation too much, but I think when we were talking about Barbie earlier, you talked about the screenplay and how it took something that could have been just blockbuster cash grab and did so much more with it. Yeah. And I think
I think that's where
to
she
create-
deserves the credit, though, is the screenplay.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's in the right spot this year, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess I just don't personally know how you have one without the other, right? Like, if that makes sense. Like how the her as director brings the screenplay to the screen and then but has its own, in my opinion, equal impact on whether or not the film actually turns out good. You know, there's the phrase, the saying of like the script is the film you want and the movie is the film you get. And I kind of hold those things to be equal. So
sure,
yeah,
but
the praise is equally deserved in both categories, in my opinion.
I mean, here's the thing. I guess there's no way for me to rebuttal against that other than like attack a movie that I like, and I don't want to do that. But but what I would say is the weakest parts of Barbie are also, in my opinion, due to the execution of it, right? Like, it works for me. It's a good movie. But there are times where I'm like, that didn't totally work. You know, and like, that could have been...
Which is fair.
Yeah, that could have...
Which is fair.
Yeah. So...
I don't have those, so that's why I have the opinion that I do.
Sure. So it's like,
right.
In my opinion, like, the execution kind of is the weaker part of the movie. Of a good movie, right? Like, so like, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't want to get down that road. But I feel
I wouldn't.
Where Barbie does excel, it isn't the main performance. It isn't the best supporting actors. It isn't Ryan Gosling. I mean, those things are all great. But what I think the best part of Barbie is the screenplay by Gerwig and Baumbach.
Yeah.
And set design and things like that. There's a lot of things. It's a good movie, but I guess what I'm getting at is I don't want to sacrifice anything that's on here.
Yeah, I haven't seen Zone of Interest, so I can't say for that one.
Yeah, fair. I mean, but based on Jonathan Glazer's other work, I mean, I guess maybe I have a bias towards him, you know, in a way that you have towards Gerwig. I know you really love Gerwig's movies.
I do. Yeah. So, but we can move off that. I don't want to get too
well. I think this
up
category is still going to be a little relevant for the next category because if you look at all these names, these are the ones you need to pay attention to in the next category.
Yeah, that's true. Do you have a? I guess before we move on, do you have a preference, personal,
for Best Picture?
For Best Director.
Oh, for Best Director. Oh, my bad. I mean, this feels... I mean, personally, Yorgos, I think, but...
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But honestly, I would not be upset if Nolan took it home. I really enjoyed Oppenheimer. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed Christopher Nolan's last few movies. I think it's really good. I think it's maybe one of like the top 3 movies of his entire filmography. I just think it's really good. And I wouldn't be upset if Nolan takes it home. But the thing is like, I know that's not like the sexiest choice because it's kind of like, yeah, it's a biopic, you know? So.
Yeah, I agree.
So personally, I think I'd go with Yorgos, but I don't know. I think Oppenheimer's technically the movie that I have rated higher on Letterboxd. So
yeah, that's always one of those weird things of like. Oftentimes, I think whatever wins best picture, it makes sense that the director would then get the category, but that's boring because then you end up with a sort of
like a movie sweeping things. Yeah. Yeah. But that said, I think that's what's going to happen this year. So, in Best Picture, we've got American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. I think if you look at the Best Director category, those are the ones that are like before they adjusted the Best Picture list to like list 10 movies and they only listed 5. Like these would have been the movies, I think, that would have been nominated in the 5. I think everything that's not on the Best Director list is something that wouldn't have been nominated a few years back, you know?
Yeah. I agree. It's how things like Dark Knight started and like Avengers Endgame, I think, started getting nominations.
Right.
Barbie is probably in that.
Yeah, I think Barbie's the movie that made $1 billion. So this is how you get people to watch the Oscars. So then you can give it to Oppenheimer. That's my prediction anyway.
Yeah, my prediction is actually Killers of the Flower Moon.
You think Killers?
I think it's going to surprise.
Yeah.
And take it, to be honest.
Looking at all these, it's got to be Oppenheimer or Killers. I think that's...
Yeah, I think Poor Things would be the real shock. It would be like a sort of like a...
That'd be nuts.
Almost a Parasite level.
I wouldn't believe it.
Shock. Yeah, you'd be like, double check the envelope again.
Yeah,
please.
I think if anything else has a shot, it's Maestro.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it's in a lot of categories. Feels like the Academy loves it.
True. Well, what is it? Is it Leonard Bernstein? Is that who?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the name?
That's a
Wasn't
name
he
of
like
a critic. Yeah. Oh no,
the
I was thinking of Leonard Maltin. Yeah, Leonard Bernstein. Yes, that's who Maestro is about.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about that is it's a Hollywood focused story, and those tend to have a lot of weight behind them. Like one of my film professors once said to me that Hollywood loves nothing more than a movie about itself.
Yeah, loves these masturbatory,
they love seeing it.
Yeah, Hollywood dramas.
Yeah, so I could see that weirdly, even though I feel like it doesn't stand a chance anywhere else. But maybe that's my cynicism towards it that I'm also trying not to have. But yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon is my pick. My personal preference, I think, is a real toss-up between Holdovers and Past Lives and maybe Poor Things.
Yeah. But what if we're wrong? What if Barbie takes it? Would you be happy?
Oh, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
Because while I think currently, it may change, but currently, like, Past Lives and Holdovers are two of my favorites of the year and ranked a little higher than Barbie.
Yeah.
It's splitting hairs to like really get the difference between those two for me. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be over the moon. I just don't want to get my hopes up, so I'm ignoring Barbie in this category.
Yeah, you'll always be there for your girl Greta.
I know, I got her back.
Yeah, you do.
She just needs a cheerleader on set. Just be like, I think you're making all the right choices.
Yeah, I think you're doing great.
Total faith in you.
Yeah.
I would be the perfect person.
You're doing it. Yeah.
All right.
So there we go.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. We talked about the Oscars and made some predictions, some bold predictions.
Mm-hmm. And some not bold ones.
Yeah,
too.
and some not bold ones, and just kind of talked about our opinions, of which we have a lot.
Yeah.
So
do you have anything else to wrap up, or is this the end of the episode?
No, I don't. I think this is the end, right?
Yeah. So thank you, listeners, so much for listening. As always, thanks Jake Wagner-Russell for doing our intro and outro music. If you want to hear more of his music, you can go to soundcloud.com/bobscotch. Mm-hmm. And if you want to vote, choose our next Criterion Collection film, follow us on X/Twitter at casualcinecast. Keep up with what we're doing next and when our episodes come out.
Yeah. All right, stay tuned, subscribe, like, all that stuff that you're supposed to do, because our next episode will probably be the best of 2023. So we need to do that before it gets too far into 2024.
Yeah, so then it just gets weird.
Yeah, then it becomes ill-timed.
Yeah, but as you said earlier too, Chris was not on this episode, so we gotta wait for him for that one, ideally. Mm-hmm. So hopefully next week can be here. If not, we're probably doing it anyways, just as you said, we've got to get it out.
Yeah. All right, rock and roll.
Yeah, for now. Until then, I'll talk to you later.
Later.